HG Manjavali Devi Dasi with Savariya song.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Gurudev. I was born in Tajikistan during the time of USSR, in the international family. My father was a Muslim, he was chanting namaz. My mom was from Russia, she is a Christian. I graduated Institute of Arts. My occupation is a music teacher. After my studies, I was for a very long time, working at the state art band. We were traveling around the country performing. I was very tired, didn't have much time, to be honest. One time, it was 1990, I met on the road, I met devotees. They were so happy, so joyful, despite the fact that they, behind their shoulders, they were carrying such heavy backpacks. I saw that big backpacks, very heavy, but they were smiling, so happy, offering books. I became very interested. And of course, I took a book in my hand to take a look at the book. I remember I didn't even maybe didn't go through the pages, but the external appearance, their energy, it gave me some desire to purchase the books. I purchased Easy Journey to Other Planets and Bhagavad Gita. They gave me the address of the temple. It was in a private apartment, the address of the temple, and they invited me for the Sunday program. And to be honest, when that evening, the same evening, I started reading the book. First I read Easy Journey to Other Planets, then Bhagavad Gita. It was like a bomb in my hand, mind-blowing in my head. everything exploded. My perspective on life, my previous prejudices and stereotypes lost their value because these questions, which I already, we could say, even when I was studying at school, I had such questions when my father, my mother, they gave me Bible, they gave me Quran. I had questions, and after that I was, as you go on living, you have studies, then it takes a lot of time, especially we're young, and we didn't think about the actual goal. You think how to now plan everything, to have enough time for this, for that. And when I read these books, I remembered all the questions that I've had when I read those spiritual books that my parents gave me, and the perspective, the understanding of life at that time was destroyed. And even before that Sunday program, I remember I went to that address, even though I had some doubts. Today there's no Sunday program, maybe nobody will be there, maybe nobody will meet me, maybe there will be a closed door. But to my surprise, when I came, the door was open. I didn't even knock, because the door is open, please come. And I was already doing service in the temple. I was distributing cakes. In the morning I was cooking, and then afternoon I was going and distributing. And the most amazing thing was, because before I was singing, for me it was, well, it was job that is the dream of my entire life, to sing on the stage. And now I'm distributing cakes, and because many people recognized me on the street when I was working at my karma job, here when they saw me, they were surprised. They were approaching me, like my old friends, and they were asking me, what happened? We can't believe you have no money, you're just selling cookies and cakes. You can go to one wedding and sing, and then for 1 month you will have enough money to sustain materially. But I couldn't explain to everyone what is the essence, because it was Tajikistan, it was a Muslim country, and as Guru Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, we don't need much philosophy, give them prasadam. This will purify their consciousness, and that's why they took the cakes and they gave in charity, they gave some Lakshmi, as if I have some financial crisis, as if they were trying to be compassionate. But I didn't pay attention to that, because I understood that this is my internal false ego, and therefore I was trying in myself to fight that false ego, large false ego, which was enormous at the time. Then later on in 1992, in Tajikistan, there was a civil war. It was very hard, very severe, and we practically couldn't distribute neither books nor cakes. It was very scary, because all of these explosions, helicopters, shootings, guns, and then I decided that I should live at the temple. Our temple president was Hamsaduta Prabhu, and he, by his mercy, us 18 people, 18 devotees at that time, at that emergency period, we were living at the temple. And practically the Supreme Lord took care of us, because at that time there was a farm. My husband Subudhi Rai Prabhu, he had a company, and we had all of the necessary groceries, sugar, flour, grains. That's why our temple president Hamsadutta Prabhu, he said, eat lots of sweets, life is sweet, lots of prasadam we should distribute. And one time he even joked, because it was so hard, so dangerous, because our neighbors, they were killed at night, the family. And Hamsadutta Prabhu, he told all of us, all Matajis need to get dressed in saris, put tilak, Prabhus need to also dress in dhotis, put tilak and chikas, because if somebody will come at night and kill us all, then they will take pictures and they publish it in the newspaper. So Moscow temple would know, looking at the pictures, that this is Dushanbe Yatra that has been killed. Of course, he was joking, but he was very much encouraging us, inspiring, and he's good at it. Even now, he does it. Even though he lives in America, we're still associating, we're still cooperating. He gives us instructions, advices. We're so grateful to him for that. And also, I would really like to mention that at that time, at that dangerous situation, many Maharajas were visiting our place. First who came was Prabhupada Vishnu Swami. Then after some time, after half a year, also, still it was dangerous time. Bhakti Bringa Govinda Swami Maharaj came, and Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. And my husband, Subudhi Rai Das, him and the driver went to the airport to meet Maharajas, to pick them up, and they were driving through the city, and Govinda Maharaj said, it looks like it's quite calm around here, even though the war is going on, everything is quiet. As soon as he said that, 5 minutes later, immediately, they heard the sounds of guns, machine guns, shooting, somebody is shooting someone. And it was all of a sudden. Govinda Maharaj immediately said, come on, Subudhi Rai, go faster. And they were increasing the speed of the car. And very soon they arrived to the temple. So therefore these shootings, they were all of a sudden, out of nowhere. I was also in such a situation. I decided to move into the temple because I can't sit at home and listen to all of these machine guns. So I went out with a baby carriage. My child was 1.5-year-old, my son. I went with a baby carriage to the temple by walk, because buses were not going anymore and the transportation was very less. Many people already left the country because of these events. There was not much crowd in the city. So I was walking along with baby carriage, and suddenly, out of nowhere, maybe 5 or 6 steps just in front of me, the shooting began. I stopped, but only the Supreme Lord was in control. He was directing, only He could make it happen this way, because usually they don't care who, what, they just shoot. Whether it's a child, a woman, they have no difference. They make no difference. So I stopped. I was thinking, oh my God, how can I cross to the other street, because I need to get to the other street because the temple is there. It was just between the TV studio and there was a fabrica factory. And I stopped. I just began loudly, as loud as I could, in my mind, but as loud as I could hear myself. I started chanting pranam of Nrisimhadeva because I was so scared for my child. And when I started chanting this pranama mantra, suddenly, I remember it very clearly, from the left side, this man, he stood up and they started screaming at me, saying, "What are you standing? Go, quickly." And from the right side, from the side of the TV studio, my husband used to work over there. And then, due to the circumstances, he left. And also they stopped shooting because these stopped, that party also stopped. And they started asking me so that I would go faster. And for me, this was such a shock. Naturally, I just grabbed the baby carriage and started walking away very, very fast. Running away, we can say. I was amazed that they even stopped, because I didn't want to go back home. I just thought I need to get to the temple and find my shelter and refuge in the temple. I want to be with devotees rather than sitting at home with my child in fear, listening to all of this. I was surprised they stopped. Of course, I was very quick. I ran. I did about 10 steps away from that place and they began shooting. I was surprised. I came to the temple. I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even say what happened. Only on the next day I explained to them the situation that I found myself in. I was just silent. I couldn't say anything. Then we moved to Russia. We were living in Moscow. And by the mercy of Yashomatinandana, he invited me to work in Gurukula, in Moscow Gurukula, because I had a diploma as a teacher of primary school. I was working as a teacher. I was organizing performances, musical programs with kids, celebrations, festivals. For example, when Maharajas, Guru Maharajas, they come, we were performing with some performances, dances, dramas, plays, and for about 8 years I was working in the Gurukula. After Russia, for the past 10 years, we're living in India by the mercy of Gopal Krishna Goswami. 4 years we lived in Mumbai. My husband was working in the company. There was Kargar temple nearby. We're going to Juhu, Chowpatty in Mumbai. And now, for the past 5-6 years, we're living in Mayapur. And just like in Russia, just in the same way in India, I am doing what I'm doing is I'm traveling to different programs, singing, we're doing performances, plays, dramas, and we're attracting children, because people are very inspired, very attracted when they see children who are playing in plays and dramas, who are singing kirtans. They don't play, they live happily and joyfully, preaching, and they're doing it spontaneously with great happiness and love. And people get attracted. Many people, they are amazed, they wonder, they question, how did you become attracted to this movement? What is the most attractive to you? And therefore it is very important when you wake up and you're trying to put your body and mind in a certain mood, when you're chanting your japa, when you're worshipping the deities. And this gives you certain energy, internal energy. You can't explain it, you need to try. It's just like honey in a bottle. If you don't open, if you don't try, how can you explain? You will get double happiness, realizing that what you do has meaning, There is a purpose. It's very important when you understand, realize, and do it. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Jai 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 Jai